Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are here for the signing ceremony between TNPA and Okwanda LNG at this port of Ngqura. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the following: our Honorable Minister, Barbara Creecy, the Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape, Councillor, Mr. Mlungisi Mvoko, starting the wrong. The Eastern Cape MVC for Transport and Community Safety, Mr. Xolile Ngata. Oh, did I get it right? I didn't get it. And then, I don't know if the Executive Mayor is here, but the Deputy Executive Mayor of the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, Councillor Gary van Niekerk. Right. Deputy Director General of Integrated Transport Planning and Maritime Transport, Mr. Mtunzi Madia, I know he's here. Chairperson of the Transnet Board, Dr. Andile San, my boss, sis boss. Member of the Transnet National Port Authority, Mr. Velile Dube. The Transnet Group Chief Executive, Advocate Michelle Phillips, who is my boss. She likes to call me boss, but she is the boss. Acting Chief Executive of the Transnet National Port Authority, Dr. Dineo Mazibuko, and members of the TNPA Exco that are here. Chief Executive Officer of Tamasa Energy Group, Mr. Joe Madunga Ndaba. Chairperson of the Strategic Fuel Fund, Mr. Tembinkosi Bonakele. I saw him earlier. Acting Chief Executive of Strategic Fuel Fund, Mr. Sifiso Msabala. I didn't see him, but I think he's here. Chairperson of the South African National Petroleum Company, Mr. Sipho Mkhize. Chief Executive Officer of Infrastructure South Africa, Ms. Mametsi Masemula. Board Member of the Kucha Development Corporation, Ms. Zianda Potelo. Executive Chairperson of Maritime Business Chamber, Mr. Unati Sonti. Our valued customers and esteemed stakeholders, members of the media, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and I would say Eid Mubarak to our friends that are celebrating today. Good morning to all of you, and you're welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this historic occasion as we gather for the signing of a terminal operator agreement between Transnet National Port Authority, which we call TNPA, and Okwanda LNG for the development of an onshore liquefied natural gas, LNG, regasification facility at the port of Ngqura. Today's event marks a significant milestone, not only for Transnet and partners, but also for South Africa's broader energy, logistics, and infrastructure development agenda. I'm Soli Letswalo from Transnet, and it is my honor to host you here at the port of Ngqura as your program director. You can access the program for today's occasion. You all received this. There is a QR code on your name tags. Those that are technologically not challenged can scan it, and hopefully you should be finding the program for today. And at the end of the occasion, the pictures that are being taken here will also be reflected there. Those that are not technologically challenged will be able to do that. For the others, you can get help from your neighbor. Before we proceed with today's program, we all know that safety is a priority at Transnet. Allow me to invite our port manager for this port, in fact, all of the port in the Nelson Mandela Bay, Ms. Pamela Yoyo. She will take us through the safety protocols for today. Pamela? I saw her standing outside. Oh, there she is.
Please allow me to stand on the protocols that have already been observed by the program director. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am going to take you through the safety briefing. Our ablution facilities, let me start with them, are positioned right on our right-hand side. When you go out this exit and go around, that's where you will find our ablution facilities. For today, our safety rep is up here where LSA, he's standing right there, right? We have no safety drills that are planned for today. So in an unlikely event of an emergency, he will be the person that will sound the air horn. When that sounds, then it means we have an emergency, and we are kindly requesting you then to respond to our safety reps and event organizers. They will direct you how to actually exit here. Please exit calmly. We have a safety emergency assembly point. It is just on the other side of these two small marquees. It is marked in green. We go there and we wait for our safety rep that will actually come and talk to us. The attendance register that we have completed as we were coming in will be used for a roll call, because we need to check and make sure that we can account for everyone that is in the marquee. You are please requested not to leave that safety assembly point until you have been actually advised to do so by our safety rep. They will come and let us know whether it is actually safe to come back to the marquee or to direct us to another area. Our safety rep for the day is also a first aider. Please be advised that if there's any medical emergency or you need any medical assistance, please, you can just indicate to him. We do have a clinic here at our port. It is at Imendi building. He will be the person that will actually arrange for you to get any medical help that you might need. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Thank you, Program Director.
There's one question. Why are we not seeing any reflective vest, especially for the person we have to run to? So I hope there will be something brighter that we can actually see. Now that we have gone through the safety protocol, we may officially start today's program. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call upon onto the stage it's no longer the executive mayor. It is the deputy executive mayor to give us welcome remarks on behalf of our friendly city that's not windy today.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let me apologize on behalf of our Executive Mayor, Councillor Babalwa Lobishe. Today is a council meeting and she asked me to attend in a place. You would have noticed that we were at the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee recently, and one of the issues that were raised is the non-responsiveness of the mayor, but this is not one of those issues, one of those instances. Let me put on my specs, Program Director. Thank you very much. I won't be long. When politicians normally say that, they won't be long, then normally another half an hour on the podium, but you can start the clock now. Program Director, I won't be longer than a minute. Let me be more precise. Honourable Minister of Transport, Ms. Barbara Creecy. Let me also greet our acting Premier, Acting Premier Mvoko, then also our MEC of Transport and Community Safety, Kolele Nata, and then I've seen so many people with speeches at my table. I'm just going to say I rise on the protocols already observed. So, and then the leadership of Transnet National Ports Authority, sector stakeholders, partners, and business representatives, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The terminal operator agreement that is being signed for the development of LNG regasification in our shores marks a significant step in initiatives aimed at enhancing sustainable economic growth and trade. It represents a moment of transition away from expensive diesel to resilient, cleaner, uninterrupted baseload power, unlocking hundreds of new careers. Let me repeat that, unlocking hundreds of new careers and drawing substantial industrial investment to the region. The agreement will also equip the Kuga Special Economic Zone with a secure gas supply and storage infrastructure, which will guarantee manufacturers and automakers a reliable and economical energy source, thereby enhancing regional economic growth. Last page. All of the above will make our local industry globally competitive and ensure continued productivity and operations in our car factories. On behalf of myself, the Troika Council, and the citizens of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality and the region, I am pleased to express support for this agreement. Under my watch, which is now the mayor, the executive mayor, under my watch, I will ensure that we collaborate for compliant streamlining of regulatory processes and fast tracking of this development. We will ensure that bureaucratic inertia, very big words, bureaucratic inertia does not impede employment opportunities, power grid stability, or economic progress. Working in partnership as stakeholders, which are here represented, let us support this project to foster an agile, resilient, and self-reliant city. Thank you very much. Nkosi kakuli, Kangans.
Thank you, Councillor van die Kerk. Just those with cell phones on sound, can you please put them on silent, vibration, so that it doesn't disturb the proceedings? And those coming on stage, I am the Chief Safety Officer. We do have this to make it easier in case, we don't want to have anybody trip and fall and we're in trouble. And I'm glad we're also next to the fire station, so we shouldn't be worried about any fires. Thank you again. I would like to call upon onto stage our Transnet Group Chief Executive, Advocate Michelle Phillips, to set the scene for today's ceremony. Good stuff.
Thank you, boss. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister Creecy, Acting Premier, Deputy Mayor, MEC for Transport, Dr. Anna, my chairperson, Dr. Sanku, distinguished guests, partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also going to rise on the protocol previously observed. I'm learning from the politicians. It is indeed an honor for me and a privilege to welcome you to my home. I always say when I'm home, Deputy Mayor, we had a conversation earlier with the Minister. PE will not, and the Eastern Cape will never again say that we are not doing much for the Eastern Cape. As I've said, it's an honor and a privilege for me again to be standing here before you today for the signing of this long overdue, Dr. Anna. I remember the messages on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning. Where are we? Where are we? For the signing of this terminal operator agreement of this LNG import facility at the port of Ngqura. The event indeed is a pivotal moment for Transnet and our nation's transitioning energy landscape. Today's occasion is more than just the signing of an agreement. It is a bold step towards building the infrastructure required to support our country's energy transition, to strengthen the economic resilience and unlock long-term industrial growth. The development of this LNG terminal aligns directly with Transnet's strategic priorities to modernize and expand our logistics network, optimize port infrastructure. So last year we gave PE container terminal a ship-to-shore crane. You all remember that, right? Just yesterday we delivered 12 hybrid straddle carriers. So PE container terminal will continue to improve and improve and improve for the industry in this region. So, of course, we want to create greater value through these strategic partnerships and investment-led growth. By enhancing our capability to handle critical energy cargo and supporting the diversification of South Africa's energy mix, this project positions our ports as key enablers of industrial development and regional competitiveness. Now, as we confront the realities of climate change, you guys all experienced this in the last few weeks, the terrible weather that we experienced in the Eastern Cape, in fact, across the country. As we confront those realities of climate change and the global transition towards cleaner energy solutions, initiatives such as this demonstrates our collective commitment to building a more sustainable, resilient, and future-ready economy. Today's signing, therefore, stands as a landmark achievement, not only for Transnet and our partners, but for South Africa as a whole. Now, the municipality, Deputy Mayor, we will put you on terms. Everybody is on terms, Dr. Anna. It's taken us a long time to get here. We cannot be taking an even longer time to be building the infrastructure. We are trying to avoid a gas cliff. So it is important that we all work together and that we get, that we break ground sooner rather than later. So together we will lay the foundation for a more integrated, sustainable and economically prosperous future. As Transnet, we look forward to the continued collaboration as we work together to build an efficient, globally competitive logistics system that supports South Africa's economic aspirations. Through these partnerships and investments, we are not only strengthening our logistics network, but we are also contributing meaningfully to economic growth, industrial development, and the creation of opportunities that will help to move our people out of poverty. And as we say in Transnet, when Transnet works, South Africa thrives. So let's all work together. Let's move our people out of poverty. Thank you very much.
Well, give you another hand. And as Michelle said, she is from here. I mean, for me, this port has always got a special place because the first time I came down here 20 years plus ago, there was nothing here. And I'm proud to say that by the time I left Transnet, we had built that container terminal. I'm still saying I did the initial design and I led the team that constructed the terminal. So I'm very proud whenever I come here to see a new project coming up. And there are more that are planned. Just takes longer than everybody thinks. But however, this port in 10 years' time will look totally different. Thank you, Michelle. I will now invite some of the people that are going to change this port. The Ukwanda LNG, represented by the chairperson of Tamasa Energy Group, Professor Anna Hokong, to share terminal operator remarks and the vision for this important partnership. Professor?
Program Director, and our Honorable Minister of Transport, Ms. Barbara Creecy. I just want to say to you, Minister, from our side at Tamasa, our journey began 16 years ago working on this project. And today, it falls on your lap. You are female, and the CEO of Transport, Advocate, female, and the chairman of Uganda, female. Is it a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen? I just think women will get this country going with your support. I'm talking about the males now. The acting premier of the Eastern Cape, Mlungisi Mvogo, and Tata agendithi kuwe inkaba kamama ipha ekoloni. So for those who think I'm from Gauteng province, just check your information. I'm also from the Eastern Cape. And our executive mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, Ms. Babalwa Lobishe, the MEC for Transport and Community Safety, Transnet Board Chairperson, Transnet National Ports Authority Board Chairperson, Transnet Group, well, I've already acknowledged Michelle, Advocate Michelle, and also the acting Chief Executive of the Central Energy Fund, Dr. Tsebo Mukoka. I think he has sent a representative here. And I also would like to acknowledge an eminent group of Black industrialists who are here, some of our partners. We thank them for the support they've given us. And also some family members. We've been constantly praying. Also Bishop of, I can't say Lindeland's church. Lindeland. You know, the bishop's knees are gray with prayer as he was praying for us all the time. We are here to witness the outcome of the perseverance and the continued prayer. And also, we have a delegation from Mozambique. Minister, you will understand why the Mozambicans are here. Because they form a very important aspect of the eastern part of our country and also the Indian Ocean with our Agala warm current as well as the Mozambican current that will be massaging our ships. Can you imagine? We're creating a highway for ships, and we must ensure we have ownership as a region on those ships that will be transporting the LNG molecules from Mozambique, which is well endowed with LNG. And just by the way, our group has been awarded an LNG block in Mozambique. So we shall have our own sources of gas. So you talk of the Middle East being our support and source. No more shall Africa now depend on other areas of the world. We as Africa are endowed by a God-given resource of LNG gas and other minerals as well. And it's time now with this project, what it speaks to is that Africans, South Africans, must now explore these resources for themselves mainly, but also in this area to create an LNG hub for trading gas. Like we are buying gas from elsewhere, now we'll be able to create a hub of trading of gas in this port of Ngqura. So what you see here is actually just the starting point of something phenomenal that South Africa and Africa has never seen before and will ever see, where Africans, South Africans, and the rest of the region can now begin to integrate in trade of valuable resources. So I am honored to speak on behalf of Uganda LNG at a significant milestone in the development of this import terminal at the port of Ngqura. Uganda LNG is a strategic partnership founded on the alignment of the Central Energy Fund, pursuing its mandate through the Strategic Fuel Fund, and Tamasa's long-standing vision and perseverance, as I mentioned to you earlier, that has spanned over a decade. So reaching this point for us is deeply meaningful. And as I've mentioned, I'll reiterate this point many times. It's deeply meaningful because the infrastructure that can be developed by these very rich partnerships of state-owned companies, of private sector, bringing the expertise together, it's going to bring forth an evolution. I don't want to use the word revolution because it's rather drastic, but it's a combination of an evolution and a revolution where our people, we the people of Africa, of South Africa, can integrate and work well to develop this infrastructure. And I want to tell you this, don't believe the story that there's no money in Africa. Come on. How much do our pension funds hold? Trillions. We met a South African founded company that has over 3 trillion in investments, and they're hungry for investments. We've had the PIC declare in the media that they would also set aside a budget to develop infrastructure in gas. So we have, South Africa has the money, it's got the funds. All we need is coordination for us to work together as a nation and build this infrastructure. And I rather like what Advocate Michelle said. She says, time is of the essence. We cannot afford anymore to sit and wait for the red tape, the bureaucracy that says who and what and there and why not, a million reasons why we shouldn't do something when we ought to do it, when there's one compelling reason why we ought to do it. So if we can work together, like this is one of the pilot projects that shows that this can happen. Similarly with the Romco pipeline, the one that transports gas from Mozambique into the northern part of the country. It's also a collaboration of Mozambique as well as South Africa. This is the model of regional collaboration. This is what it should be. We should not work in silos because the silos are the ones that are delaying progress of transformation, economic transformation. I think we need to change the mindset of South Africans. We need to change the mindset of Africa, that Botswana must do its own thing, Mozambique must do its own thing. You cannot do that because the waters of Limpopo run from one part of the continent to the other. So how do you divide the continent? We are saying the resources must be shared through collaboration. Like, I'm sure you'll agree, Advocate, that the rail as well. If we have effective rail going up and down the continent, east, west, we will see progress in our land. So the expected impact of this project on the Eastern Cape economy cannot be understated. Infrastructure of this scale stimulates investor confidence and investments and supports construction, creation of jobs, deepens technical capability, and expands the platform for future industrial development. We talk about just energy issues, but there's also industrialization that will benefit from bringing the LNG molecules. So the impact just cascades downwards. So at a national level, we must continue to state clearly that energy security and economic growth are inseparable, and both must be advanced in a way that supports South Africa's transition to lower carbon energy sources. And no economy, has been stated, can grow sustainably without reliable energy. And no transition can succeed if it undermines competitiveness, investor confidence, or job creation. At Uganda LNG, we recognize that projects of this nature succeed only when there's alignment amongst all stakeholders and role players. And as I've mentioned, we've got sufficient capital. One of the suggestions has been, as we grow and develop this business, should we need, because we are going to need billions of dollars to do this, we can list the asset in other markets and maintain South Africa's ownership as significant. This is how we're going to do it. We've given it careful thought as to how we are going to tackle it. We have traveled the east, west of the globe, north, south of the globe. And I learned we are the talk of town today, Advocate Michelle, on building this infrastructure. Now the Qataris, I'm told, want to know who we are, who you are. I'm sure they'll come and ask you for tea to hear, because this has been their domain. And suddenly, some little group they consider us as little when they convert dollars to rands. Some little group has come up with this. So what we are saying is that this is a clarion call for us all. And before I conclude, I want to say this is a clarion call to South Africa, to South Africans. Let us busy ourselves with things that matter, things that can really transform our economic landscape. This is what we need to do. Have the positive mindset and let the negative things, that will take care of themselves. Let us build South Africa. Let us build the continent. Let us build our infrastructure. Let us utilize our resources, our God-given resources, which are abundant all over the continent, even in South Africa. I mean, if you learn that platinum, who produces the best and the most platinum for the world? But where does it go? I mean, really, this is the clarion call, my fellow citizens, my compatriots. And I just want to say, as I now finally say, to our Mozambican counterparts, we have something to report back home, that you watched the first launch on the on an Indian Ocean port that says now we're going upwards. The port of Nyasoro, the port of Beira, and the pipeline that's going to transport the molecules to join the pipeline that takes us either to the port to bring our own molecules, or they talk of a gas cliff. What's a gas cliff? When you've got enough gas, just direct it properly from another spot and bring it here, bring it home. That's all. And what does that take for South Africans to work together, for Africans to work together? My brother Kanjono, with your delegation, we need more gas. Have you seen? Now we are starting here before we can build the other one. And we thank you also for traveling all the way. It just demonstrates how you take our partnership and relationship seriously, and that we in this generation are going to change the world. We're going to change the face of Africa, of South Africa, of Mozambique, of all the neighboring countries. We're going to change the world. Together we shall win. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Prof. I'm looking forward to those days when LNG will actually reduce our dependency on diesel. And we've seen how diesel prices keep shooting up, and all the problems that we have that affect access to this diesel. And I still want to understand from people in the energy field, why do we use the word molecule? You know, first time I was hearing it, I'm a little bit confused why energy sources like LNG are called molecules. But one day I'm going to sit next to the prof. I will be asking that question. Thanks to you and all the partners for the remarks. And I'm definitely certain that we all looking forward to the Eastern Cape having this facility set up here. And then it is made possible by the partnership between public and private. So at this stage, I would like to invite to the stage our board chairperson, Dr. Andile Stangu, who also by the way, comes from this area, has also got this area close to his heart. He's going to share with us the strategic relevance of this project to Transnet as an organization. Please give him a hand as he walks.
Honorable Minister of Transport, Ms. Barbara Creecy, Honorable Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape, Mr. Mlungisi Mvoko, Honorable MEC for Transport and Community Safety, Mr. Kolile Ngata, Your Worship, Executive Deputy Mayor, Mr. Diedrichs, leadership and board of Ukwanda LNG, distinguished guests, partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. It is a profound honor to address you today at this port of Ngqura, one of the most strategically positioned deep water gateways on the African continent, as we sign the terminal operator agreement for a major liquefied natural gas facility that will help shape South Africa's energy and industrial future. On behalf of the Transnet board and our executive leadership, I begin with a word of sincere gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Transport for the policy stewardship and unwavering support that makes these initiatives of this scale possible. To the Acting Premier, the MEC, and the Deputy Mayor for partnering with us in placing the Eastern Cape family at the center of South Africa's industrial renewal. To Ukwanda LNG for the trust, patience, and shared ambition that has brought us to this moment. And to the teams across the Transnet National Ports Authority who have worked often quietly and tirelessly to bring this agreement to a point of signature. Today's signing is not in itself the achievement. The real achievement will be measured in the years to come, in jobs created, in new industries built on our shores, in communities uplifted, in the resilience of the Eastern Cape economy, and in the confidence of investors who choose South Africa because our ports work and our partnerships hold. Ports are no longer simply places where goods move. Modern, professionally designed and well-operated port terminals are economic engines. They determine the cost of doing business in a country. They shape investor confidence. They unlock industries that would otherwise never take root on our shores. The most competitive economies in the world understand this. They invest accordingly. South Africa must do the same, and through deliberate, structured, and disciplined action, we are doing so. The terminal we are committing to today is part of a broader program to ensure that our ports are not a constraint on the economy, but a catalyst for it. The Reinvent for Growth strategy that guides Transnet today is at its core a strategy of structural reform. It commits the board and the executive to moving Transnet beyond operational recovery towards sustainable investment-led growth. It commits us to disciplined execution, to the highest standards of corporate governance, and to opening up our network to credible private sector partners who bring capital, technology, and global operating expertise. We approach this with humility. We do not pretend that Transnet alone can carry the weight of the country's logistics and energy ambitions. The scale of the task before us, modernizing ports, rebuilding rail corridors, and expanding pipeline infrastructure and enabling the energy transition, is simply too large for any single institution. It demands partnership, and partnership demands trust. Today's signing is an act of that trust, and the board is deeply mindful of the responsibility that comes with it. Private sector participation, when designed and governed correctly, is one of the most powerful tools available to a modern state. It allows public infrastructure to be delivered faster, financed more efficiently, and operated to global standards, while the state retains its custodial role over national assets. The terminal operator agreement to be signed here today reflects exactly that philosophy, a balanced, transparent, and contractually robust arrangement that brings new capital, new capability, and new ambition into our ports network, while ensuring that the national interest, public accountability, and developmental outcomes remain firmly at the center. The Kwanda LNG facility in Ngqura would be far more than a terminal. It would be a platform for energy security, a platform for industrial diversification, and a platform for cleaner, more flexible energy mix. This investment also sits alongside another important initiative already underway, the Zululand Energy Terminal at the Port of Richards Bay, developed in partnership between Vopak Terminal Durban and Transnet Pipeline. Together, these two facilities form the backbone of South Africa's emerging LNG import capability. They are evidence that with the right partnership and the right discipline, infrastructure of national consequence can be built and built well. This terminal will also attract new capital flows into Nelson Mandela. It will create direct employment during construction and operations. It will generate far larger indirect employment through supply chain it activates. It will support the development of complementary industries, maintenance, logistics services, engineering, marine services, and a wider gas economy that can, over time, take root in this province. There is a point that the board considers non-negotiable, and I wish to address this directly. Infrastructure of this kind must transform the economic landscape around it. Broad-based black economic empowerment, meaningful participation by historically excluded entrepreneurs, and the deliberate incubation of local suppliers are not afterthoughts to this project. They are the central design of this project. Our expectation, working alongside Ukwanda LNG Group and all of our partners, is clear. Local enterprises will be developed. Skills will be transferred. Opportunities will be opened up to young people and women in business. And the prosperity generated by this terminal will be felt in the townships, the towns and communities of Nelson Mandela Bay and the broader Eastern Cape. We are here to build infrastructure that is reliable, professionally operated, and globally competitive. We are here to attract capital, both domestic and international, into productive South African assets. We are here to support the emergence of new industries, the creation of decent jobs, and the strengthening of an economy that must work for every citizen. In closing, the work ahead will not be easy. Building world-class infrastructure never is. There will be technical challenges, there will be commercial complexities, and moments when progress feels slower than any of us would wish. But the board and executive leadership of Transnet are unwavering in our commitment to deliver this project with integrity, to honor the partnership we are entering into today, and to ensure that the benefits flow to the country, the province, and the people we are privileged to serve. To Ukwanda LNG Group, thank you for your confidence in Transnet and in South Africa. To our policy partners in national, provincial, and local government, thank you for the leadership and collaboration that has made this possible. To the communities of Nelson Mandela and the Eastern Cape, thank you for your patience and your belief in what this province can become. Today we take an important step Tomorrow, the real work begins. When Transnet work, South Africa thrives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Just listening to the chairman speak for the Nelson Mandela Bay citizens, it is time to ready yourself to take advantage of all of these developments. There is enough time now for people to get skilled, the right type of skills, and I hope those that are responsible for skilling the local people are actually listening to this and identifying what training, what type of skills to impart to the local people. So we don't end up in a situation where a project comes to the Eastern Cape, but there are no people skilled enough to take advantage of it. So, Chair, thank you very much. And I think it's a challenge for everyone to take advantage of this opportunity. The Premier is not here. Last 2 years, he was just, you know what I mean. And his team will know he was really complaining about the slow progress that's been made for this type of projects to be concluded and obviously to lead to a point where they start adding value to the province. I will now invite the MEC for Transport and Community Safety, Mr. Olile Ngata, to share a message of support and the introduction of the acting Premier of the province, Mr. Mlungisi Mboko. Thank you.
Program Director, Honorable Minister Creecy, the Acting Premier, Honorable Mboko, and the Deputy Executive Mayor, Honorable Fanny Kerk, the Transnet Board Chair, Dr. Sangu Zizi, the GCF, Advocate Phillips, Terminal Operator, the Prof, Port Management, all government officials, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I spoke with the acting Premier yesterday, and because I bought a new suit for this event, so he told me two things. He said, one, the Constitution does not provide for a deputy premier nor a deputy acting premier, so you can't wear like me. He also said we must go there to give a message that we want this to live out of this tent, not to end here, and that we are a province at work. And so I had to wear my work suit. I miss my suit, but I don't regret for him having made that decision. Program Director, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the national government under the leadership of Honorable Minister Creecy for the tireless efforts in ensuring the continuous growth of our country's economy. Undoubtedly, these efforts will benefit the masses of the Eastern Cape province, creating sustainable jobs and helping to eradicate high levels of poverty in the region. You must have heard in the recent stats that our province remains leading in terms of the levels of unemployment. And therefore, these investments are investments that are needed by a province like a dry desert needs water. This significant occasion will further advance the economic growth of the province and assist in addressing the triple challenges we face. I am confident that this important ceremony is central to the efforts of the Eastern Cape government to maximize its 800-kilometer coastline for endless economic prospects for its people. The province ports, East London, Port Elizabeth, Ngqura, have been identified as key drivers of maritime transport and logistic growth. To ensure that these ports remain fully functional and drive significant economic development, We must continue to foster partnership. For partnership, we will not fail. Already our province is in partnership with the National Ports Authority for the operations in the port of Ngqura, for the efficient operation of the port in order to improve economic opportunities in the province. The port of East London, the berth has also been widened, Honourable Minister, so that the large ships can dock, and the province is also exploring opportunities at Port St. John's, as they can be another port through the spirit of district development model approach. All these concerted efforts align beautifully with the insightful words of the first democratic president of the Republic, former President Mandela, who once said, I quote, "Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is a protection of fundamental human rights, the right to dignity and a decent life," close quote. In line with the above wise words of Dr. Mandela, we welcome, Chairperson, the signing of this important agreement, for we know it will benefit the masses of our province. Without further ado, it is my singular honor to invite the Acting Premier, Honorable Mvoko, to the stage to deliver the main message. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Greetings to the Minister of Transport, Ms. Baba Creecy, the MEC for Transport and Community Safety in our province, Mr. Kole Ngata. I don't want to comment on that one. I'll come back to it. The Deputy Executive Mayor of the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, Honorable Kerry van Niekerk. I had to make sure I give you proper surname. And the chairperson of Transnet, Dr. Sang, the board member, Mr. Velile Dube, the Group CEO, the Group CEO of Transnet, Advocate Michelle Phillips, the leadership of TNPA, the terminal operator, Prof. Mkhokong. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Goeiemorgen. Molweni. It's been a long road, Honorable Minister. From 2005, when it was conceptualized, until 2019, when the minister made an announcement, it has been a long road. You will understand why the Premier has been on your neck, Chairperson, every day. This would be and is a big game changer for the Eastern Cape. It came at the right time when one of the big projects that we're having here is the hydrogen project, Hive Hydrogen Project. But it also came at the right time, Minister, when we're lobbying for the Day Spent nuclear station just 70 kilometers away from Kabega. So you must understand why we're anxious, because we have a vision of making this small corner of the province that energy hub. Today marks more than just the signing of a commercial agreement. This occasion represents a bold statement of confidence in the Eastern Cape future of the provincial economy. It signals movement towards energy security, movement towards industrial expansion, logistics modernization, and the strengthening of
South Africa's oceans economy. As we speak, the Premier is visiting Greece and Italy, leading a high-level provincial delegation. And that visit is focused specifically on deepening partnerships in the oceans economy, modernizing port infrastructure, expanding maritime services, unlocking investment opportunities, and learning from some of the most advanced port and logistics systems in the world. Now, our coastline, our ports, our strategic location along major global shipping routes, as well as our industrial capabilities, place us in a strong position to participate meaningfully in global trade and maritime development. Ladies and gentlemen, the Port of Ngqura occupies a strategic position not only within the Eastern Cape, but within the broader Southern African logistics and trade network. It remains one of the most modern deep-water ports of the African continent and has long been identified as central to our province's industrialization ambitions. Today's agreement, therefore, gives practical expression to the long-standing vision of leveraging our ports as catalysts for economic transformation and regional development. We welcome the continued commitment by transport to the strategy which seeks to reposition logistics infrastructure as a driver of inclusive economic growth. As the SNK provincial government, we have consistently argued that efficient, competitive, and modern port infrastructure is essential for industrialization, export expansion, investment attraction, and job creation. The LNG terminal project has the potential to unlock significant downstream economic opportunities. It strengthens prospects of energy diversification and cleaner transition energy solutions. This initiative supports industrial users that require reliable energy supply and will, in no doubt, enhance investor confidence in the Ngqura Special Economic Zone and surrounding industrial corridors. Most importantly, this terminal will also open opportunities for local businesses, local workers, local suppliers, and young people seeking participation in the maritime and energy sectors. We are particularly encouraged by the opportunities this development presents for localizations and skills development, as you clearly outlined, Chairperson. That's one of the, we're looking at that as one of the big benefits within the region, skilling, particularly in the crisis that we're facing today of the unemployment of youth. The long-term and sustainability of projects such as this depends on ensuring that local communities benefit meaningfully through employment creation, supplier participation, artisan development, and skills transfer. And I'm glad that the Minister for Transport is here, the Minister for DIDIT, working with the Nelson Mandela municipality, must ensure and must support this project such that it becomes a success. We therefore call on all the stakeholders to work collaboratively to maximize inclusive economic participation throughout the implementation of this project. For the Eastern Cape, this is about much more than infrastructure. To us, this is about economic renewal. Our province continues to face profound economic challenges, including high unemployment, particularly amongst the youth. We therefore view strategic investments of this nature as critical interventions in changing the economic trajectory of our province. This project aligns directly with the provincial government's focus on identified growth frontiers. Allow me once more to congratulate TNPA, Ukwanda LNG Group, and all stakeholders involved in reaching this important milestone. May this agreement serve as the beginning of a new chapter of growth, partnership, and economic opportunity for our province and for our country. I thank you, Program Director.
Thank you, Acting Premier. I'm sure the Premier, where he is probably going to listen to what you said and make sure that you represented him well. And I can confirm that you did. I'm hoping that in the next year or so, we will be, within the next year or so, we'll be back here, not once, but twice or more, to sign some more agreements that will then exemplify the development or make it real, that there is development taking place. For now, I would like to invite to the stage our shareholder minister to deliver her keynote address. May we all rise and give a big round of applause for the Honorable Minister Barbara Creecy.
Good morning, everybody. Please be seated. Allow me to acknowledge the Acting Premier of the Eastern Cape, MEC Mlungisi Mvoko, my counterpart in the province, the MEC for Transport and Community Safety, MEC Ngolile Ngata. Let me also acknowledge the Deputy Executive Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, Councillor Gary van Niekerk, the Chairperson of the Transnet Board, Dr. Andile Sangu, the representative of the Transnet Ports Authority Board, Mr. Velile Dube, Transnet Group CEO, Advocate Michelle Phillips, Chairperson of Tamasa Energy, Professor Anna Mokohong, all representatives of Ukwanda LNG Consortium, representatives from our sister entities that fall under the Department of Minerals and Petroleum, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really delighted that we're finally here as we witness the signing of this important terminal operator agreement. And today does indeed, as many speakers have said, mark a decisive step in our journey towards energy security, infrastructure development, economic growth, and a sustainable energy future. The conclusion of this agreement reflects our collective commitment to delivering liquefied natural gas to the South African market as an alternative energy source in line with the country's energy security requirements and broader just energy transition imperatives. I'm pleased that all parties moved with speed to reach this significant milestone after I issued the Section 79 directive to the Transnet National Ports Authority, authorizing the Strategic Fuel Fund to build and operate an onshore liquefied natural gas regasification facility in the port of Ngqura. So, I mean, we've heard today that it's taken a very long time. All I can say is I did my best once I got here. As our country continues to face growing energy demands and the urgent need for reliable power generation, LNG represents a practical and necessary transition that can support economic activity while reducing our carbon intensity. Ladies and gentlemen, this development firmly positions TNPA as a reliable enabler of gas-to-power project pipelines and as a key driver of integrated infrastructure development. As others have said, our ports are not merely gateways for trade. They are strategic assets that must facilitate industrialization, regional integration, and economic resilience. The port of Ngqura has been recognized as a world-class deep-water port with significant potential. Today's agreement unlocks a new dimension of that potential by enabling both marine and landside infrastructure development required for an onshore regasification facility. This infrastructure will stimulate investment, create jobs, and support industrial growth in the Eastern Cape and beyond. Importantly, this project has been recognized at the highest level of government as one of 12 South African priority infrastructure projects announced in March 2024 and has been accorded a strategic integrated project status by Infrastructure South Africa. This is not merely symbolic, but it affirms the urgency and importance of accelerating implementation and ensuring coordination across all spheres of government and industry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you will gather from what the MECs and the chairperson have been saying that we have collectively come under a lot of pressure from the Premier of the Eastern Cape. And I have to say that's the job of a Premier, to put everybody else under pressure so that a particular region in the country should receive infrastructure investment. And MEC Mvoko, please, I wrote this part of the speech especially for the Premier. So, we're not just trying to develop LNG here. We are trying to expand this port to its fullest potential and its fullest capacity. So the Ngqoga manganese export corridor is part of Transnet's strategy to improve South Africa's bulk export logistics by integrating rail and port operations to enhance efficiency, reliability, and capacity. The private sector participation project that will build this corridor and the related port includes a new manganese terminal here at Ngqoga and a phased rail upgrades, with private investment expected through a structured procurement process. Transnet anticipates launching the transaction to market in August this year, and construction is expected to take approximately 4 years once financial close is reached. The initiative will increase port export capacity and competitiveness while shifting manganese exports from Gqeberha to Ngqoga. One of the questions I get asked is, when are you taking these dirty trucks out of your beautiful city, Deputy Mayor? And what I can say to you is we expect to decommission the manganese terminal in the port of Port Elizabeth by 2032. I know it's not around the corner, but there is a clear plan, and we understand that no city can continue in the way that is happening there. Although this is not directly linked to the LNG terminal program, the broader development of infrastructure at the port of Ngqoga will contribute to improved port efficiency and increased bulk commodity handling in the future. These projects therefore represent more than infrastructure. They represent confidence in this region's future and demonstrates what can be achieved when government entities, state-owned companies, and the private sector work together. I need also to say, MEC Mvoko, and this is something the MEC of Transport knows, that SANRAL has committed the National Department of Transport has committed 5.8 billion to the Provincial Roads Management Grant over the next 3 years. So for those of you who send me these texts every day, What are you doing about the provincial roads in the Eastern Cape? We've allocated 5.8 billion to maintain and upgrade those roads. And in addition, Sanral, over in this financial year, we will be spending 7.9 billion for infrastructure investment in the Eastern Cape. So please tell Premier, keep nagging, because nagging works. This points to government's commitment to the development of the Eastern Cape as a region and is indicative of the ways in which the Department of Transport and its entities are using infrastructure investment as a catalyst for economic prosperity. Let me commend the teams from TNPA, Ukwanda LNG Group, and all stakeholders involved in bringing the current agreement that we are celebrating today to fruition. The work ahead remains significant, but today's signing sends a powerful signal that South Africa is moving forward with strong intent in securing a sustainable energy supply. As we celebrate this milestone, let us remain focused on delivery, collaboration, and of course, above all else, accountability. The success of this project will not merely be measured by infrastructure built, but by the opportunities created, the energy secured, and the contribution made towards a more sustainable and inclusive economy. I thank you.
Give her another hand. Thank you, Minister. Minister, you've clearly, as you make your way to your chair, you clearly indicated the alignment between our national policy and the development or these projects that are being developed in the Eastern Cape. It's not a standalone, and I'm glad the Minister mentioned the other projects I was indicating are coming to the Eastern Cape. Ladies and gentlemen, we've listened to all the speakers and from all directions, and we now have had insights into what is happening in terms of this project and others that are coming in the future. We now have reached that moment that we've been waiting for, where pen and paper are going to meet, and we will witness that when that agreement is signed between the TNPA and Ukwanda LNG. So I'll invite a few people to the stage, Transnet GCE and the acting TNPA CE, Dr. Dineo Mazibugo, the port manager, Pamela Yoyo, Tamasa chairperson, Professor Mkhokong, Tamasa CEO, I think he's not here, Madu, the CEO, but there is a representative of the CE, I can't remember the name. The Chief Executive of SFF, Dr. Mukoka. Please join me on stage, and Ayanda will be just indicating where you need to be while you're doing this part. I think while we're doing this, I know the music will sound very soon as the proceedings go.